Let's go on to somebody that I absolutely love, and that's the little O playing shortstop right now. Orlando Arcia, just he's never upset. He wants to catch every fly ball, every pop up that's out there, and he's filled with so much energy. I was so happy when he got back to the big leagues. Now he's a starting shortstop for the Braves. What is it? What is it that you're hearing or seeing from him as a Brave? And now he's been the spark plug. I mean, he was the hero last night.
Yeah, no, it's a great story. I loved what Matt Olson said last night. He said it's hard not to root for this guy. You know what he went through the last couple of years, where he kind of the Brewers pushed him aside, moved him to third, and trade him, and he comes to Atlanta and has to fill a backup role. Here's a guy that just a couple years ago he was top 10 prospect. I think it was 2016. Uh, he's always been able to play defense. We haven't seen him as an everyday player here a lot. We saw it a little bit last year when Ozzie Albies got hurt and he played second base. And there were times where you wondered if the scouts and evaluators were right in saying he's better off, being a role player, playing, but can he handle the start, an everyday role for 2 weeks at a time, 3 weeks at a time? Sure. But then he gets into these lulls. Right now, there's not anything wrong. He is their best defense. He was their best defensive option for sure heading into camp. I really never bought into the whole Vaughn Grissom going to be the shortstop thing. He doesn't have the range to play the position. He came all the way from A-ball to the big leagues and had a couple good weeks last year, and then. But I really thought that he needed to develop, not only defensively, and I don't even know if he ever can, get to that point where you're comfortable with him from a defensive standpoint as an everyday shortstop. And then the other guy was Braden Shoemake, who has never really hit at the big league or at the minor league level. And you wanted to go ahead. He definitely needs at least another month or two of bats at AAA level. So you always knew that Arcia was the safest bet, or he could do the job. He's the guy who could get you through a month, and maybe Shoemake and develops the bat enough that he becomes the everyday guy. But right now, you got to love what Orlando's doing, because he's showing why just 6-7 years ago he was such a highly touted prospect. You saw what he did in Milwaukee in 2018 postseason. Had a bunch of big home runs up there. He's taking advantage of the moment right now, and you love stories like that. And I think you guys may have crossed paths with him, and he's just a fun-loving guy. It's cool to see guys that have that much fun with the game have success like this.
How's everything going with Strider? So we saw him last night. He looked absolutely phenomenal for his first two starts. So what's your impressions on him, especially having a great year at the end of the year last year, now coming into his own a little bit?
It's incredible to think of what he did last year with basically 1 year of professional experience, and then to throw, make close to, go pitch, be used as a starter for the final 4 months of last year, and to put up the 200 strikeout season. You saw it last night. That the slider was just filthy. He's spotting 97 on the black. He's also spotting, the slider. I think the Padres swung at 11 sliders last night and whiffed on 8, and then they looked at another 8 or 9 for called strikes. We talk about that 98, 99, but just as the sliders is just as much a bastard pitch as that fastball is. So he is. It's just a lot of fun to watch him pitch every 5 days. It's going to be fun to see him grow. He's got a little bit of. He's got a much higher pitching IQ than you expect from somebody with this much experience. It's fun to hear him talk, mainly because he's able to simplify the art of pitching at such a young age. And it's nice to be able to throw, 100-mile-per-hour BBs, but at the same time, he understands where to spot it and how to keep himself ready to prepare every 5 days. It's just a fun, not only fun to watch him pitch every 5 days, but to see him prepare.
Last thing I got for you, I'm gonna mimic an announcer from the Braves. I want you to tell me who it was, okay?
All right.
Can we do that? This quick little game with you real quick. So
now batting for your Braves, Chipper Jones.
Good old Skip.
Oh,
He
there
was
we
the
go. All
best.
right. We were trying to figure out who it was because I
Skip
used
Carey.
to, yes, I used to get him down all the time, with that little like Kermit the Frog kind of voice he had there a little bit. So I'm glad you helped me out with that one. I appreciate it.
You grew up watching TBS, right?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yes.
Of
Yeah,
course.
Skip was the best. It's it's cool to I was glad to be able to be around him their first 7 or 8 years doing this job.